Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all, let's go ahead and get into part four of the $1 million deception. Where we left off at was, Monica was sad because Lewis got mad because she wouldn't accept his proposal. So he got up and left, and she was crying, and she called Freddie to see if he knew where he was. Freddie said that he didn't. Then the phone rung. She thought it was Lewis, but it ended up being Nate. Okay. So Nate noticed that Monica was crying, and he asked her, if it was okay if he called her. It took Monica a minute to answer, but she said that it was. Nate asked Monica what was wrong, and she said nothing. But Nate suspected that it had something to do with Lewis. And this made Nate feel that getting close to Monica might just be easier than he thought. They started with general conversation, kind of catching up with each other, and then Nate said that he was calling to see if she saw her stocks in the Kinney Corporation had dropped. And Monica said that she had, but she was confident in Nate to bring them back to their value. He then tells her that it was brought to his attention that she purchased the chain of stores that she worked for and that the businesses were thriving. And the reason he was calling was because he needed her help with the Kinney Corporation as it related to the stocks. Are you serious? Very. I mean, you own quite a few shares in the company. So I thought you might be open to the idea. After hearing that and knowing that her money could be affected too, Monica told him that she would meet with him. He said since he was in the office all day, every day, how about meeting at his new house? He said that Monica could tell him what she thought about the place. Monica was silent for a moment, but then she agreed and asked for the time and the address. Back over there with Lewis, Freddie called to tell him that Monica had called and said that she was missing him and Layla and she wanted them to come home. After Lewis hung up with Freddie, he wanted to call Monica immediately, but he decided not to because he didn't want to seem thirsty. So he just went back to watching TV because he wanted her to feel like he was still deliberating about whether or not he wanted to come back. Lewis decided that he would wait until tomorrow and let her know that he accepted her apology, but he hoped that she accepted his proposal. The only thing is, he had taken the ring back. Lewis tried to sleep, but around 2 in the morning, he scooped Layla up and they went back home. He walked quietly into the bedroom. Monica was still crying, and when she saw Layla, she opened her arms and pulled the little girl in and hugged her tightly. Lewis told Monica that he was sorry. I shouldn't have walked out of here the way I did. I just need to know that you want to be with me. I know you're scared, but I will never hurt you. I love you. I know, Lewis, and I love you too, and I want to marry you. I want to be your wife. Lewis was shocked, but eventually he said, okay. Then he took Layla to her room, and Monica and Lewis sealed the night with passion. She cried and told him that she never wanted him to leave her again, and he promised that he wouldn't. The next morning, Lewis woke up feeling very optimistic about their relationship. Then Monica walked out of the bathroom and told him that she had something to tell him. He sat up and said, what's up? Nate called, and I'm going to meet with him tomorrow. Later on that day, Lewis met up with Freddie at one of their favorite burger spots, and he told him about Nate calling Monica asking her to meet with him to help with his business. What? You don't believe her? I believe her. I just don't believe Nate's dog is. Because why do you need to talk business at your house at night? Ah, yeah. Yeah, he on that budget. What you gonna do? I told Monica that I'm going with her. And she said that she was going to ask me to go anyway. That's why she told me about it. And I wish I could be there for that. Waters and Kenny, round two. Man, if this was on pay-per-view, I know I'd spend my $50. And you already know who's going to win. Because if he tries me or Monica, I'm going to knock the taste buds out his mouth. So Monica, she just arrived at her main store and it was busy as usual. She heard Roland, the clothing receptionist, call her name in his usual sing-songy voice. Monica! How's it going, Roland? Everything is floating like a swan on the placid river. Monica started laughing and told Roland that he should be a poet. Miss Monica, you are so sweet, but you know that I'm a dancer. My life belongs to the stage. Of course you do, Roland. You are a star, baby. Now, where's your boss? Oh, Miss Tabitha, she's eating lunch for the past hour, 16 minutes, and 22 seconds. I'll tell her to come and relieve you. Monica walked in the office and Tabitha was sitting at her desk with her feet kicked up reading a magazine. And without looking away, she said, "Rolling, don't get your panties in a bunch. I'll be done in a minute." Monica walked over and took the magazine. "Ma'am, you're done now." "Oh, what's up, boss? Wasn't expecting you back so soon. How you doing?" "I'm wonderful." "Louis came back." "Really? And what else?" "That's it?" "Yeah. And we decided to get married." Tabitha started pacing back and forth. "Monica, what does that man bring to the table besides his needs and his mistakes, regrets, apologies, and let's not forget his daughter that you take care of?" "Don't play like that, Tabitha. I love that little girl like she was my own." "Exactly. And that could be part of Lewis's plan." "Girl, what? Tabitha, what plan?" "There is no plan. Just Louis and Layla trying to make it in life. And he's using you to do it. Let me ask you something. How much money did you have to give him for lunch today? Or for tennis shoes? Oh, wait. Maybe a new gaming console. Listen, Monica, I know how bad you wanted a kid, but why does he have to be your kid and your man?" At this point, Monica was tired of Tabitha's mouth, and she told her that she can go home for the day because she had enough of her. "You need to go home and rest your thoughts and opinions because I'm getting tired of your disrespect. You're going to mess around and need some tissue for your mouth with all the shit you be talking." "Well, dang, Monica. Okay, I see what this is, and I don't want y'all in your feelings. I just don't want you getting taken advantage of." Tabitha went over and gave Monica a hug and told her that she wasn't going anywhere. They were too busy, and Monica knows that nobody can run the store like she does. "Okay, Tabitha, you can stay, but don't be talking mess about Louis or Layla. This is going to be my last time telling you this, okay? This is my situation. You may not like it, but I feel like this is going to work." After Nate talked to Monica, he decided to leave work early so that he could prepare for her visit the next day. He was sitting in the den with little Nathaniel and he received a call from Daphne, who was on a business trip in London. She was just checking in on him, but she also called to have a little fun time over the phone. Nate got caught in the visuals of what she was saying, but then he noticed that little Nathaniel was staring right in his face. And Nate really couldn't do too much because little man was in the room. And he, let Daphne know that they would have to finish when there weren't any little eyes and ears around. They said their "I love yous" and Nate hung up. After he hung up, Nate went right back to doing what he was doing before the phone rang, and that was looking over all the photos of Monica that he had spread out across the table. Nate held up one of the photos to his son and asked him, "Now who is this again?" Little Nathaniel looked at the photo, then at Nate, but he didn't say anything. So Nate said, "This is your mommy. Say it with me. Mommy." The little boy still didn't respond, and Nate told himself that it would just take some time, and then there was a knock at the door, and it was Tim, Nate's younger brother, whom he had been close to all of his life until Nate found out that Tim told Monica everything. Nate didn't have any plans on ever forgiving Tim for what he did, and that was until he found out that Louis had admitted everything to Monica anyway. So Nate was like, "Hey, he is my brother, so I guess I'll keep talking to him, but I'm still going to harbor these feelings of betrayal." Tim walked in and asked Nate what was he up to, and then he picked up little Nathaniel. As he was picking up his nephew, he saw all of the pictures of Monica spread across the table. Nate told Tim that he was rehearsing, and Tim wanted to know for what. "I'm having a meeting tomorrow night with Monica, and when Nathaniel sees her, I want him to call her mommy." Nate then calls Mrs. Weatherly to come in and get the baby so that him and his brother can talk. "Nate, please tell me that you're not going to go through with what you were considering. You already shouldn't have gone after Tori, and when you did, you said that was going to be it." "Well, I changed my mind." "I just don't know what's wrong with you. You caused all of this. You forced her to cheat. She did. Then she found out what you did and divorced you. And you still mad because you had to give her the money she deserved? I asked her to stay. And let's not do this, okay? I asked her to stay. Let's work this thing out. Put everything to the side. But she wouldn't. So no, I didn't force her to do anything. And I didn't start any of this. She did when she lied about being pregnant. And you think I'm going to let her get away with that and $15 million? Tim just shook his head and asked Nate what was he planning on doing because he couldn't get the money back. Well, I could try to get it back, and if I can't, then I'll do as much damage to her as I can. Man, you don't need to do this. And why would you want to? You have a woman who loves you. Why can't you just be happy? You're just angry because you got caught. Nate got up in his brother's face, pointing his finger and said, "Nah, I didn't get caught. You told her. And you're supposed to be my brother." Tim told him that he was his brother then, and he's still his brother now. But one thing Tim didn't do was back down from Nate. And Nate eventually went back and sat down. Nate told Tim that he appreciated his concern, but he knew what he was doing. He's checked Tori off the list, and what he did to her is the same thing he's going to do to Monica. But you're using your son, Nate. He'll get over. He'll understand when he's older. Daphne won't know anything about this because she's out of the country, and all of this will be over before she gets back. Are you sure about that, Nate? I'm positive. Now over there with Freddie had just woken up from a nap from all the stress of folks breaking into his house. He was just sitting there in the dark and he felt angry, but it wasn't about the break-in, but about what Kia's father said to her. He told her that he would not continue to pay for her schooling if she continued to see Freddie. Freddie wanted to know what was the man's problem, and Kia reminded him that her dad always say the same thing. Freddie doesn't have anything. He comes from nothing, and he won't ever amount to anything. But Kia came from money. Her father owns a high-powered firm downtown. So Freddie was not supposed to be with somebody like Kia. They met at a club about 2 years ago, but they still together. Freddie wanted to go talk to Kia's dad, but she didn't think that was a good idea since the last time they tried to have a conversation, they almost came to blows. Freddie asked Kia if she believed the things that her father said about him, and she said that she didn't. She told Freddie that she believed in him and everything would be fine. Freddie had to pull himself out of those thoughts because he was getting heated. And he sat there for a moment, and then it dawned on him that he hadn't heard from his mama. He hadn't heard her come back from her interview, and that made him nervous. He started putting on his clothes, and his movements woke Kia up. She asked him what was he doing, and he told her that his mama hadn't made it back. He checked his phone, but there weren't any missed calls. He said that he was going to go check, just to see where she was. And Kia told him, well, just continue to try to call her. He went upstairs and called out for his mom, but she wasn't on the main floor and she wasn't upstairs. So he went outside to see if he saw her. He was thinking, maybe she missed her bus or something. So he kept walking and started calling her phone. As he was walking, he looked up and he saw flashing red and blue lights up ahead. And then someone picked up the phone, but they didn't say anything. Freddie said, "Hello? Who is this?" "Who the hell is this?" When Freddie heard that, his heart rate went up and he started getting nervous. "Nah, who is this? And where is my mama?" After he said that, the person hung up. Freddie ran towards the crowd to see what was happening, and he heard someone say, "Hey, an old lady got mugged." Freddie was thinking, no. It can't be what I'm thinking. So he forced his way through the crowd. He couldn't see the lady's face because there were 2 paramedics over her, but he looked down at her shoes, and they were his mother's shoes. He tried to get to her, but police officers stopped him. "That's my mama over there. That's my mama." One of the officers looked at one of the paramedics, and she nodded to the officer to let him know that it was okay for Freddie to come over. He dropped down on his knees and he could see that his mom had cuts across her face. Her knuckles were scraped and bleeding. Her hair messed up, and they had already put an oxygen mask over her nose and started an IV. Freddie could feel the rage building up inside of him when his mama said, "I've been robbed, Freddie. I've been robbed." When he looked up, he saw a dude walking fast on the other side of the street about to turn the corner, and that dude was holding his mama's purse. The paramedic got Freddie's attention and told him that they were about to take her to the hospital and that he could ride with them. So after a while, Freddie was starting to get nervous because it seemed like it was taking the doctors forever to update him about his mama. Then a doctor finally came out, came into the waiting room and told Freddie, along with the scratches and bruises, his mom had fallen pretty hard on her hip, but it wasn't broken. But due to her age, it would take a while to heal, and she'll be in a lot of pain. But what the doctor was worried about the most was the bump she sustained when she fell. Then he said that they did an MRI and it showed a mild concussion, so they were going to keep her overnight. After the update, the doctor took Freddie to see his mother. He was so scared to go in the room because she was lying there so still that he thought when he went in there, she might be gone. But as he approached, she slowly opened her eyes. He took her hand and told her that was never going to happen to her again because he was going to get them out of that neighborhood. His mama told him that she knew he'll get them out, and she said that she'll be able to help because she did get the job. They looked around and Kia had made it to the hospital. Freddie had called her on their way to the hospital and let her know what all had happened. So they spent a little more time with his mom and then they went back home. Once they got there, Freddie was very quiet. He was just standing in the living room staring at the wall. And Kia asked him if he was okay, but it took him so long to answer that Kia started to get worried. So she walked over to him and grabbed his hand, and that made him snap out of his daydream. He then told her he'd be right back, so don't wait up. Then he left. So the next morning, they brought his mama home from the hospital and they were helping her up the stairs when Freddie noticed some strange looking guy walking up on them. His mom nor Kia saw the guy, but Freddie asked Kia, "Hey, you got moms?" She said, "Yeah, what's wrong?" He stepped off the porch, pulled that Nina from his waist and put it up to the guy's head, holding him by his throat. His mama got scared and asked him, "What are you doing, Fred?" Freddie asked the man who was he and what did he want. The man was scared. He got to stuttering and said, you the guy looking for the man who robbed your mama last night, right? And you said, like, if people knew you would pay $40. Yeah, that's me. Well, that's why I'm here. I know who it was. He's like 40 years old, about like 6'5" and skinny. He always wear this old dirty t-shirt with some blue pants. He got marks all over his face and he walked with a limp. Like people on the street call him Naughty. After they got Freddie's mama settled in, Freddie took a ride to find Naughty. He parked in the area where the guy said that he usually hung out. Then Freddie noticed somebody across the street who walked up to a boy on the corner, made a purchase, and then he said that got to be him. And the guy started walking off. So Freddie got out of the car and started following Naughty. The man turned the corner and went into an alley. So he was sitting behind a dumpster and Freddie jumped out on him. Naughty was sitting there tying his bicep up. You know what that means. When he looked up, he saw Freddie point his piece at him, but he wasn't even fazed. He asked Freddie who was he and what did he want. Freddie told him that, "Hey, you robbed my old lady." "I rob a lot of old ladies. That's what the fuck I do." Naughty told Freddie that he needed to get back to business at hand, and Naughty got right in front of Freddie and told him that he better take us home. Freddie was so nervous, his hands were shaking, and Naughty just laughed and called Freddie a little B, and he told him, "Tell your moms to stay off my streets." Then when he turned to walk away, Freddie started to pee-whip that man. He was hitting him so much that Freddie blacked out. Once he snapped out of it, Naughty's face was beaten in. It was bloody and swollen. Freddie didn't even know if the man was still alive, so he kicked him with the toe of his boot, but he didn't move, and that made Freddie nervous. So he kicked him again, and that time he started coughing and moaning. Then Freddie put the piece in Naughty's face and told him if he ever messed with his moms again, that would be his last day above ground. Now over there with Louis, so Louis was so happy that Monica said that she would marry him, and Monica wanted to prove that she was serious. So they went to the mall so that Monica could pick out her ring, and she picked a beautiful 2-carat diamond solitaire on the platinum that cost $12,698.42. When the saleswoman asked, "How would you like to pay?" Monica said, "Card." Then she looked back at Louis like, "Take out your card." And Louis was thrown off because he still wasn't used to using the card that Monica gave him. After the transaction was complete, Monica gave Louis a big hug and thanked him. And Louis whispered to her, "But it was your money." And Monica told him, "Just go with it." And Lewis was like, okay then. So he gave her a big hug and told her, like, I'm glad you like it, baby. So they decided to go look at some more stores, and they were on the escalator, and Monica was admiring her ring. She said that Tabitha was going to flip, and Lewis said, and so will your ex-husband. Monica looked back and asked him what did he say, but Lewis remained silent. Once they got off of the escalator, Monica asked Lewis if the only reason he wanted to get the ring was because of the meeting she was having with Nate the next day. Even though she was correct, Lewis tried to play it off. He said, no, we had to get a new ring. Remember, I took the other one back? Monica gave him one of those I don't believe you looks, and she wanted to reassure Lewis that this was nothing more than a business meeting with Nate. It's just business. And she told him, you'll see tomorrow. And Lewis in his head was like, no, that's what you think. You'll see tomorrow that he wants you back. So Nate had been practicing all day on his plan. He had shown the pictures to Nathaniel so much that finally he was calling her mommy whenever Nate asked him who was on the picture. He went back over what he wanted Mrs. Weatherly to do as well. She was to pick up Nathaniel from the nursery, go run some errands, and wait for him to call her when it was okay for them to come home. Nate had planned to have soft music playing when Monica arrived, offer her some wine to soften her up, help her let her guard down. And then he would call Mrs. Weatherly. She would walk in with Nathaniel as though it was unexpected, and that's when Monica would recognize him from the adoption agency. Nathaniel would call her mommy. Monica would want to know why was he calling her that, and Nate would tell her it was because that's what he's always considered her to be to him. And all of that could probably lead to deeper conversations. So the time had come for Monica to arrive. Nate heard the doorbell. He checked his appearance before going to the door. He turned down the jazz that he was playing, and then he opened the door. Nate couldn't contain the smile on his face when he saw Monica because she was still as beautiful as ever. But that smile quickly went away when he saw Lewis. Nate couldn't believe that Monica would bring him with her. Monica could tell from the expression on his face that he was shocked. So she said that she hoped he didn't mind that she brought Lewis. No, that's fine. Come on in. Y'all can follow me into the dining room. Nate shook Monica's hand and told her that it was good to see her. And he gave Lewis a dry hey. And Lewis gave it right back. Nate then offered them something to drink. Monica said that she was fine, but Lewis asked for a beer. Nate goes to get the beer. Then Lewis say, oh, I drink out of glasses now. Can you give me a glass? So Nate goes back and get a glass. But when Nate went back in the kitchen, he called Mrs. Weatherly and told her not to bring Nathaniel home yet. And he called her back when she could. Then he went back into the dining room. So he gave Lewis his glass. Then Lewis asked where was the bathroom. And Nate said down the hall on your left. Before walking off, Lewis kissed Monica on the lips, which shocked her, but also made Nate want to throw up. Once Lewis was out of sight, Nate said, and you brought him? Why? This is a business meeting. He can hear what we have to say. But what's the point? Are you trying to spite me? Will he even understand what we're talking about? He can barely speak English. Nate, stop. I don't appreciate you talking about him like that. We're in a relationship, and I'm not going to sit here and let you talk about him like that. A relationship? Monica, out of all the uneducated, worthless people out there, you picked him? Well, actually, you picked him for me. But that's besides the point. But since you say I picked him, I didn't only pick him, I'm marrying him. And Monica pulled her hand from under the table and showed Nate the ring. Nate was speechless. At first, he thought that Monica was using Lewis as a rebound because, she probably thought some of the persona that Nate had created for him was really him. But he didn't think she would be foolish enough to marry him. Nate was just shaking his head when Lewis walked back into the room. And Lewis said, you ain't liking that much, huh, Nate? Nate, you ain't saying nothing. Lewis, stop. That's enough. You don't have to do all of that. Yeah, you better listen to her, or you just might find yourself marrying somebody else. I know why you don't like it, Nate. Because you want Monica back. Monica was trying to get Lewis to stop, but Lewis said, nah, I already know what's up. Lights all dim. What kind of paperwork you gonna look at with this dull light? Soft music was playing when we walked in, but as soon as he noticed me, he turned it down. And look at his shirt all open. Got a fresh haircut too, then you, Nate. Nate told Lewis that he didn't know what he was talking about. But Lewis wouldn't let up. He said, "Oh, really? Well, tell Monica that you don't want her back." Monica was over it. She stood up, grabbed her purse, apologized to Nate, and said that they were leaving. She started walking to the door, but Lewis walked in front of Nate and told him that he wasn't no fool, and he knew that he wanted Monica back. Monica was at the door by now, telling Lewis to come on, let's go. Lewis told Nate, "You're not going to get her back. You understand me, mother? That ain't going to happen." Nate looked at Lewis, all cool, calm, and collected, and said in a low voice, "You want to bet?" Lewis was shocked that he said it, and he looked back to see if Monica heard it, but she was too far away. Monica told Lewis that she was about to leave him, and Nate told him, "Run along, Lewis. Don't miss your free ride." So on the way home, Lewis was trying to tell Monica what Nate said and what he was trying to do, but Monica didn't want to hear it, so it was a tension-filled ride home. Later on, once they settled down and had gotten in bed, Monica asked him, "Why did you act like that?" Lewis said that he was just trying to get her to see the truth about Nate wanting her back. And Monica asked Lewis, "What are you talking about? You, out of all people, know what he did just to divorce me. He does not want me back. We went over there for a meeting, which we didn't have because you were acting crazy." Monica, "He told me that he was going to get you back." Lewis, "He didn't say that." "Oh, so you saying I'm lying?" "I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying that you're saying what you want to believe and what you want me to believe. Listen, Lewis, you said that you want to marry me, and you're going to have to understand that I own stock in his company, which in turn makes us business partners in a way. There will be times that we do business together, and in order for you and I to make it, you have to be cool with that. If not, you're going to have to take this ring back. Are we cool?" Lewis didn't like what he was hearing, but he said they were cool. Later on that night, when Monica fell asleep, Lewis still had a lot on his mind from the meeting with Nate. Lewis didn't understand why Monica didn't tell Nate that she was bringing him with her. At first, he was thinking maybe Monica wanted to be back with Nate too. But he was like, "Nah, this ain't about Monica. This is about Nate Kenny." So he got up and went to the office. He downloaded some photos and videos onto the computer from his camera, and they were images from a camera that Monica and Lewis like to use when they want to be spicy. He searched for Nate's email address and sent Nate an email with 3 photos. And in the message, he said, "You wanted to see your ex-wife? Tomorrow morning, you're going to get your wish." And then he pressed send. The next morning, Nate was at work, and Tim had stopped by to see how the night had gone with Monica. Nate told him all the ugly details and just how bad he wanted to choke the dog shit out of Lewis. And Tim could tell that the night was rough for Nate because he looked rough. And he also told Tim that Monica said that her and Lewis were going to get married, and he couldn't believe it. Why not? He was the guy who was there for her when you didn't want her no more. Listen, Tim, how many times are you going to rub that in my face? As many times as it takes for you to realize that you are the reason y'all are divorced, and that you are the one who pushed her into Lewis's arms. Nate just stared off into the distance and said that he just wants to get back at her for what she took him through and what she took from him. But if she plans on marrying Lewis, he really don't have to worry about anything because her life will go straight to hell anyway with Lewis in it. Then leave it all alone and just let that happen. No, Tim, I don't want him to cause her pain. I want to be the one personally responsible for her pain. Here. Why can't you just leave them folks alone? He obviously cares about her. Nate looked at Tim, then he looked at his computer. You could see Nate logging back into his computer. He opened his emails and he told Tim, come over here. Let me show you something. Nate clicked on an email with the subject for your collection. He clicked on the attachment and told Tim if he cared about her, would he have sent me these? And when the photo opened, it was Louis and Monica, Bucky naked. He had her legs to the ceiling with him deep inside. Nate couldn't see the expression on Monica's face, but Louis was looking right into the camera smiling. Tim turned away as soon as the attachment opened and stepped back was like, I'm sorry, Nate. There are two more. You want to see those? Hell no. You need to delete them. No, I'm going to save them because they just might come in handy. Okay, so what now? What are you going to do now? Oh, nothing's changed. I'm going to continue with my plan. You know what? I just might call him and put it all out on the table and let him know that I want my wife back and make him an offer that he can't refuse. If he agrees, I just continue working on getting back what's mine. And I don't want to hear your opinions. All I need to do is find this man's number and set all of this up. Daphne is back in 2 weeks. Just then, Nate's office line rang, and it was his secretary telling him that he had a call on line 4. Who is it? A Mr. Waters, sir? Shall I take a message? Nate looked at Tim like, can you believe this? No. Put him through. This is Nate. Who am I speaking with? You already know who this is, Nate. Did you get the pictures that I sent you? Yes, I did. And they disgust me. Well, they don't disgust me and Monica. We love looking back at those photos and reminiscing on those nights. Sometimes we even make videos and watch them like it's a movie night. Listen, Louis, what do you want? Easy there, Nate. No need to get feisty. Listen, I'm just calling to let you know that you ain't slick. I know you want Monica back. And what if I do? Then we shall meet and talk. Let's meet at Taylor's. You remember that place, right, Nate? I do. What time do you want to meet? The sooner the better, Nate. Maybe a half an hour? Well, I have a meeting at 1:15. Nate, I'll see you at 1:30. Then Louis hung up, and Nate and Tim was just staring at each other in disbelief. Nate arrived at Taylor's and saw Louis sitting in the back at their usual table. Louis had a beer and there was a brown drink across from him. Nate was hesitant about drinking it, but Louis told him ain't nothing wrong with the drink, you can drink it. So the two men took a sip of their drinks. Then Louis leaned in and asked Nate, how many times did you get friendly with yourself while you were looking at those pictures? What kind of sick motherfucker are you? I ain't sick, Nate. I'm just trying to get you to see that things aren't the same. They not how they used to be, and she ain't coming back. Why are you with her? Is it the money? I got money. Nate, it's not the money. And don't get me wrong, the money is nice. Whenever we need anything, Monica gets it. But it's about the love, Nate. Love? Please. You're just some broke thug looking for a warm spot for him and his bastard child. What do you really know about love? I know that love doesn't pay a broke thug off the street to sleep with his wife. I know when a woman deeply loves you and wants to give you her all, love doesn't kick her to the curb just because she can't have kids. Okay? And that's all I need to tell you. Now get yours from up out of here. Nate didn't move, but he told Louis that he apologizes that things got out of hand and that he shouldn't have said those things about his daughter. He said that's not why he came. Well, why did you come here, Nate? I came here to ask you to leave her alone. Whatever you need, I'll take care of it. I'll buy you a house. I have a job lined up for you at a construction company. You can start all over and have a good life for you and your daughter. You'll do all that? No strings attached. I'll do all of that, Louis. Louis thought about it, trying to pretend like he was going to consider it, and he said, no. Okay, I see. Well, I guess I'll pay for my drink and get on up out of here. Nah, a man like you don't just give up easily. Because I remember looking at 3 and then 4 men standing over me, trying to take me up out of here. And one of those men stood over me and warned me to leave their wife alone. And that was you, Nate. Remember? Yeah, I remember. Yeah. So a man who would do something like that doesn't take no for an answer. Like I said, you gave me your answer and things have changed. I've changed. Let's hope so, Nate. Because if you haven't, you'll be the one looking at the stars praying that you live. Okay? Y'all, what y'all think? What do y'all think? Listen, Lewis, sir, why would you send those pictures to Nate as if he won't use them to his advantage? And if you love Monica so much, why would you expose her like that? Why would you do that? She said that she don't want Nate back. That's what she's saying right now. She don't want him back, okay? But you may be doing the same thing that Nate is doing. You might end up pushing her away. Y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll talk to y'all later.